Hello class, we're in chapter number 6, learning about energy and engines. We were in chapter number 7 and we did learn about the planets. Hopefully you did amazing on the chapter test that we had yesterday. But moving on to chapter number 6, this chapter is going to be our last chapter before we move on to health. So talking about energy and engines, as we talk about energy and engines, we have to know about force and motion, which is going to be our first section in chapter number 6. We are on page 150 in our arithmetic books. So this chapter is about energy and engines. That means we have to know what is an engine. We have to understand how engines work. So first up, what is an engine? An engine is a device that converts energy from a natural source into useful work. That means, for example, a car is an engine, an airplane is an engine as well. Just imagine though, the world without engines. How are you going to move from one state to another? How are you going to move from one country to another? Just imagine going from North Carolina to Virginia without a car. How are you going to go? Are you going to choose to walk? Are you going to choose to cycle? So we have to be thankful that we actually have engines. So engines will do jobs for man that he cannot do well or even at all by himself. So again, we have to be thankful about engines. Now moving on to our section number 1, talking about force and motions. Forces is necessary for motion. So what is a force? Forces are important in our world because we need them to produce motion. Force cannot be smelled or tasted. It can only be felt. That means force, I cannot grasp force and eat it. I cannot cook force and smell it, but I can only feel force. That means what is force? Force is push or a pull. A push or a pull. Now, have you felt force? Yes. Have you pushed an object? Yes. Have you fallen down the stairs? Yes. That means you have felt force. Now, moving on to the force of gravity. Gravity is the force of attraction that exists between any pair of objects. As we are learning about gravity, we do have to know about matter, we have to know about mass, and we do have to know about weight. So, strength of the gravitational force between two objects is determined by the mass. That means the amount of matter. Now, what is matter? Matter is anything that takes up space and has mass and weight. So we did talk about mass, which is the amount of matter. Matter is anything that takes up space and has mass and weight. Now, what is weight then? Weight is the measure of the gravitational force. If there is an object that takes up space, the more matter, that means the more downward pull. The more downward pull, the more weight is going to be. So as we're learning about gravity, we do have to have those three in mind. We have to know about the mass, the amount of matter. We have to know about matter. And we also have to know about weight, the downward pull of gravity. Moving on to a force of friction. Friction is the force that resists motion. Now, can we sense frictions? Can we feel friction? Yes, we can. So, friction is a special type of contact force brought about when the surfaces of two objects rub together. So with your two hands, what you can do, you can rub them together. As you rub your two hands together, you are causing what? You are causing friction, which is a special type of contact force brought about when two objects are rubbed together. And that's going to be chapter 6.1. Chapter 6.2 is going to be our lesson tomorrow. So what you're going to do for today's classwork is you're going to read chapter 6.1, which is going to be from page 150 to page 153. And after you're done reading, what you're going to do the comprehension check in page 153. Goodbye.